Let's take a look at something we're going to try to save on. Let's see if we can get her just a little bit. Maybe even take it for a ride. I don't know. I don't know what we're getting in for yet. Let's just take a look at her. 1963 with a 61 grill. Ford unibody. This one here is the short bed variety. They made them in the short beds and the long beds. So this one's had a lot of hands touching it. The tail light's a little, well, you know, you just gotta put that right up. Stay. It's factory. So there you go. This one does have a little weight reduction right in this area here, here to here, and kind of here to a little bit right there. Other than that, she seems pretty solid, fellers. Kind of a storage unit of miscellaneous stuff. See, just a Summit box. Have I already worked on this? Have I already worked on this? This is a Summit box. But some extra headlights there, and there's extras for the extras. So yeah, she's as simple as you can get. Just the one gauge there. Looks like it's got 34,395 miles showing there, and judging by the wear on the side of the clutch pedal there, I'd say she's 134,000. And we've got some fancy electrical here going, just kind of drilled right through here, and I don't know what that's for, but we do have a key. It's painted red, not sure why. Maybe that means, whoa, don't turn this. I don't know. But no idea the last time this truck actually ran and drove. I can tell you there's a registration in the dash that expired in 2005. But was it running in 2005? I have no idea. So let's dig into it and see what we got. This unit here comes with the race package, which is the lift-off hood. You know, you could only get those on the high-performance race models. And the wooden chair leg radiator plug here was also an option in 63 only, folks. So I have already turned the motor over, and the motor turns over fine. And off camera, did diagnose a couple problems. Diaphragm in the carburetor hard as a rock, and so we was going to get no, you know, just the squirtage. We wasn't getting any of that. And the wire that went from the coil to the distributor was broken, so we done a field kind of twist together, kind of fix for that. So we're gonna call it good. Brake reservoir was completely empty, so put a little brake fluid in that. So now let's get started on fixing the other issues that we see here, or fixing the issues that we find here. And that's, well, I don't know what to do with my hands. My hands keep doing this, and I'm not sure. Anyway, we're gonna get in there and fix that. So our friends at the local O'Reilly's, O'Reilly, got a brand new diaphragm. This is the Walker Products. Yeah. Hopefully that's not a sign that we'll be walking. There we go, brand new diaphragm, and we'll get started putting her in here and make sure she's giving us the pss, pss, when we give it the, you know, it's got to give us the pss, pss. And seem to have a whole lot of tree rats running around here. Alright, let's get this bad boy put back into its place here. Let's see if we can get some throttle squirting going on. Let's just see what happens. I'm kind of curious at how good or bad, or if the truck will run. I think we've got a better than average chance of getting it up and running. All right, so now that we've got that in there, the next thing I'm gonna do is take my trusty squirt bottle and try to fill these float bowls real carefully so that, so you don't spill but a gallon or so. There ought to be plenty, and we'll just drop a little dab down in there and make sure, yep, that's way too much, so it'll be fine. And I hear squirtage, boys. Think we're gonna have us a truck that'll run. Well, I hear squirtage, so we'll have a truck that has fuel to run. So let's see where we can go from there. In this, if somebody has robbed both the battery terminals off of this. So we went to our friends at O'Reilly's, picked up some new ones. Well, look at that. Nice colored cables on there. I don't know about y'all, but I think we've practically restored this thing. Ignoring the table. Just ignore the table leg. That's strategically there for racing, so when you take the motor out, you can tip it up and it'll stand there and you can work on the back of it. So that's all good. So I guess now that we've got the wire for the distributor connected, we've got a diaphragm in there and it's connected and doing the squirting that it's supposed to. We've got battery cable in. I guess we should check the oil in it. Yep, it's there. All right, so now that we know the oil is good, I guess the next thing to do is let's put a battery in it and see what happens. See if we can get this big battery in this little space right here. The cable's out right there, and just fall right in there and just. Yep. Perfect fit. Check for sparks. I don't see any. Leave the old ground just a little nudge tight. We don't have to make them tight because anytime you hook a battery up to the car that's been sitting, give her the old smell for burning wires, because, well, we don't know what kind of squirrels and tree rats and ground rats and rats in general have been in here, and judging by the amount of acorns on the top of the engine, I would say they've at least been passing through. So everything looks good, seems good. The camera's a little, just tilt your head like this. It'll be fine. Let's see if it'll crank. We actually have a key for this one. Well, how do you like that? Fired right up. Doesn't seem to be squirting the gas quite right yet. try that again. Okay, doesn't seem to be getting the squirtage. All right, so let's double check. Yeah, she's squirting, but she's not doing a very good job of it. Which tells me we probably have something a little stopped up in it. Looks like we might have an issue down in here. So I guess it's not going to be quite that easy, fellas. We're going to have to actually put a little effort into this thing. So what I'm going to do is ease the top off this carburetor and take a peek down in here and see if I can see any good reason why it's not squirting gas. We're not worried about trying to drive to California in this thing. We just need it to run for a few minutes. All right, so these old Motorcraft carburetors are not complicated to work on. There's only a handful of screws. Just don't want to lose any of them. You got 2 screws back here. You've got a screw right here on the side. Screw right here on this side. And your top just lifts right off of her. Now, this particular flavor here, somebody has worked on before, and it has a fancy piece of bent baling wire there, but that's okay. I'm not mad at that because that's probably what was going to go back in it anyway. So now let's see if we can put some gas in her now. All right. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching me to figure out the right way to do stuff, you need to turn this off. I mean, just walk away and turn it off. Look, leaf in there. So it appears we still don't have good squirtage. Yes, this is a pretty good time to do a quick down and dirty kind of carburetor rebuild on this thing and see if we can get her just throwing the fuel to it. So I guess that's what we're doing now. So here we go. I don't know if you can quite see it, but there's some crust in the bottom of this thing. It looks like month-old Cheerios. So let's see if some of that might have some stoppage going on here. I would say these jets are more stopped up than pruned out at the retirement home, but we will see. I'm gonna get in there and pull these out and run some carb cleaner through them and see if we can't get this thing just to move around a little bit. So here we are with the jet. It'll feel I can't talk. If my phone will focus, yeah, I video all my stuff with the phone. You can see that the jet's pretty well just stopped up completely. So yeah, there's no fuel going through that. So we'll have to clean that out. All right, we got the carburetor cleaned out, the jets are cleaned out, and slightly adjusted float, filled it up with fuel, and now we got squirtage. In theory, the truck should run. In theory, you should put a new gasket on it, but we're just trying to see if we can get it running. So we're going to call it good. Basically going to use this to keep from sloshing gas out the top of it while we try to start it. Once again, I'll say, if you're watching this to learn how to do something the right way, just go ahead and turn it off. You shouldn't have watched this far. I mean, really, you shouldn't have. This is about seeing if a truck that has been parked for 2 decades will move under its own power. That's all I'm interested in seeing right now. And if we can make that happen, then I'm gonna call it a win. Everybody at home watching knows that we can rebuild a carburetor later, or we can buy a carburetor from our friends at Summit later. But right now, this is all about, will this truck move under its own power for the first time in probably over 2 decades, but we're going to say 2 decades. I think earlier I mentioned that we found a registration in the dash that expired in 2005. Now, it does not mean the truck was still running in 2005. That doesn't mean the truck was parked in 2005. That just means the last evidence we can find of this truck running was 2005. So we're going to deduce that there's a possibility the last time it was run was 2005. All right. So now, in theory, we should have a truck that will sit here and idle. Let's see what we got. All right. It's a cold day out here today. There it is, sitting here idle. Well, there you go. She'll sit here and idle now. I wonder if we fill up the carburetor bowl without a can, if I can put it in gear, see if it'll move on its own. Do you think we're pushing it too far trying to move it? Let's see if it'll move on its own now. All right, so now what we're gonna do is fire it up. I'm gonna put it in reverse. I'm gonna check, see if the clutch works, see if it'll move on its own, see if the carburetor's got enough life in it. I'm just gonna close this in case it decides to shoot off through the woods. There you go, fellas. A truck that we know hasn't been driven since at least 2005. At least that's the last time it had a tag on it and it was insured. That shows you with just a little bit of work, these old trucks can be saved. Do we do everything the right way? No, God no. Is it safe to be on the road yet? Oh, that all depends on your life insurance policy. But it's a running, driving truck now. Sorta. But it's alive. First time in almost 20 years, this truck is alive again. So, before it starts raining on us, because I didn't test on the old wipers, before it starts raining on us, I think I'm gonna go for a cruise. It starts, goes forwards, goes backwards, and it has something that has the lineage if you hold your head just right and you're not in a big hurry, has something that resembles a brake pedal. What more do you need? I'm gonna go for a ride. Till next time, God bless y'all.